Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Khushi's Corner, the podcast where we spill tea on teenage life. On today's episode, I'm excited to have Serena with me. Serena, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Sarina Natani. I'm 19 years old and I'm a rising sophomore at Northeastern University. Recently, I competed at the G Festival 2025 in swimming.
So, Serena, can you tell us a little bit about how your first year at uni was like? What was your experience?
My first year of uni, it was quite scary at the beginning because I was like, okay, I'm living alone. I'm in a whole new different continent.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't scary, but it was scary in the sense that like I would have to navigate myself around new surroundings. Like I knew I could make friends very easily, and I did make a lot of friends because the very first thing I did is that I joined organizations like Women in Business, and then I also joined my residence hall's leadership council. So that way I made friends within like the like residence hall that I lived in. So that way if we like ever wanted to hang out, we could just like hang out in like our own like vicinity. And so essentially I think I had a great first year experience because at Baylor we had so many like traditions that we celebrated, like the homecoming parade, or like just like I think it's Bear Day or something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but yeah. So there were a lot of traditions that we celebrated at Baylor, and I really enjoy that. And essentially, because it's Texas, because in Texas, like everyone likes to like drive around, like
Yeah.
they'll go like from Waco to Austin, Houston to Waco, like in a day or like even within 6 hours. So that was a really good thing because like I got to explore the state as a
Yeah.
whole. And in terms of like college, I think as someone who did IB, I would say definitely college is like so much way more easier. Or maybe it's because I was just taking first year classes and I haven't really like gone deep into it yet.
Yeah.
But for now, first year classes were super easy. So that was like an easy but like easy part of uni that I liked. And essentially, one another thing about uni life is that like you get to celebrate, you get to see how American colleges are, like from like a closer perspective. Like you get to celebrate Christmas, you get to celebrate like Easter,
Yeah.
and it's very different from the way we like celebrate it. We celebrate it because like just for like fun, but you see how they like actually enjoy these
Mm-hmm.
festivals. And so yeah, it was really fun. And I also got to see snow, like flurries. It's not really snow. So I was really happy about that. And yeah, that's it. I really liked my first year.
And what was your experience living in a dorm?
I my experience living in a dorm was absolutely amazing because it was like apartment style.
Yeah.
Like you have like your own bedroom. Like I used to share with another girl.
Mm-hmm.
The bedroom, I didn't have a private bedroom, but at least I didn't have a communal bathroom that I had to share with 30 other girls. I just shared it with one other girl. We had like a living room, a dining. It was like a studio type apartment,
Uh-huh.
but I preferred that over just like a room and like sitting
Yeah.
in my bed all day, doing my homework in my bed all day. So this was way much better. And I think living in a dorm, it taught me like independence and just like learning how to live by myself and like learning how to cook. And essentially like on the weekends, like when I didn't want to go to the dining hall, I would like make like pizza paratha and stuff. So like
Yeah.
little stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also I learned how to like just like take care of myself, like washing the dishes, cleaning the bathroom, like just like learning how to be neat and tidy. And I became so much more organized and clean once I went to uni. And when I came back, you were really surprised at how clean I became
Yeah, I
and
was.
tidy. But yeah, it teaches you that. It
Mm-hmm.
teaches you independence. It
Yeah.
teaches you how to rely on yourself, and it essentially just does that. And yeah, I liked it a lot. But also like in my dorm, like the floor that I lived on, there were three or four other Smileys that lived
Yeah.
on the same floor. So that was great. And yeah, I think a lot of my friends that I made lived on the same floor as me. So like if we ever wanted to like talk till late, we could like easily do that, and we didn't
Yeah.
have to worry
Yeah.
about like walking back to campus. So I guess living in the dorm, that's a great advantage that like you can hang out with your friends safely because you know you all live in the same dorm.
Yeah. And Another question I wanted to ask was, what major did you take in your first year of uni?
I major I majored in economics
Okay.
essentially, and I decided I wanted to major in that because I didn't get to take economics as an IB class, so I was
Yeah.
like I want to take this,
Yeah.
and also it's a very applicable major. You can
Yeah.
apply to almost anything, and you learn about like different kinds of like economic systems. You learn how to apply it to the country you're living in, which is essentially America. You learn about communism and stuff and like that, and you learn about the in between. So that was a great experience.
Yeah.
But also economics is also hard. I'm predicting that it's going to get harder from this year, but I had great professors and great TAs who taught me well.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, going back a bit, what was it like when you didn't get into your dream uni the first time, and how did you bounce back from that?
I had a really tough time accepting that I didn't get into the colleges that I wanted to, because essentially you put in 17 years of hard work and all of a sudden there's like, oh, you didn't get into any colleges that you wanted to. But thankfully I had Baylor as a backup, and when I went to Baylor it was really great seeing the community around me, because essentially Baylor is Waco's like Baylor is what makes up Waco. Like
Yeah.
everyone, almost like 80% of the population are like Baylor students.
Yeah.
So that was great. And I later on when I went, a friend of mine said that her friend said that Baylor was a dream university. So like
Oh.
that really like lifted my spirits,
Yeah.
and I realized that I was actually at like a top university, and I was happy that I was at Baylor. And even though I didn't initially get accepted into the colleges that I wanted to, I'm glad I went to Baylor, because it was such a small knit community, and when you are in a new country you want a small community so you can easily make a place for yourself, you can
Yeah.
easily make friends.
Yeah.
So that was a great thing. And also because Waco is like almost like a town, so it's like quiet and it's not that busy. So if you are moving from like another country, it's really good because you can easily make friends, you can easily learn about the life there.
Okay. And I heard that you're transferring for your second year of uni. So, where are you transferring, and how was the entire process like?
I'm transferring to Northeastern University,
Wow.
and actually that wasn't even on my list. I didn't want to apply to that, but the deadline was like April 15th or so, and I was like, I want to apply. I was like, I don't know why, but I just want to apply. So I applied to Northeastern
Yeah.
University, and I got accepted in like mid-June or so. And the process, I would say, it's because I know about what I did in 2024
Yeah.
as a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from my mistakes, and I realized what I could do to make my essays better and to make my extracurriculars more appealing and that match to Northeastern's rigor, essentially. So, yeah. And Northeastern, I'm happy that I transferred to that university because it has a great co-op program. Essentially, it also makes you like, within its like academic curriculum, you work with companies, you intern with
Yeah.
companies that are like in the Fortune 500, so you're gaining experience while
Mm-hmm.
you're also getting a degree. So
Yeah.
that's a great aspect of Northeastern.
And I also did a little bit of my own research, and I found out that Northeastern has an acceptance rate of 5%. So, how did that make you feel, like finally getting into like a rigorous university and like achieving what you wanted to achieve since like so long?
It made me feel very proud of myself because, like I said, 17 years of hard work,
Yeah.
like from Montessori to
Yeah.
like grade 12,
Yeah.
like all that yielded results that as I wanted them to be. So I was very proud of myself. I remember I was jumping up and down when I got the acceptance letter.
Yeah.
So I was really happy. And yeah.
So you would tell all the other kids outside, like who are applying to uni, to like not get demotivated in your first year, right?
Yeah, I would say do not get demotivated, and I would say that like try to reach out to another senior, like
Mm-hmm.
no, to another like college freshman or college sophomore,
Yeah.
and ask them for advice on how they apply to colleges, and you will gain a lot of like useful advice.
Okay. And now that you're going to Northeastern this fall, what are some things that you're really looking forward to, particularly since you've already had experience at a university?
I'm really looking forward to living in a big city because
Yeah.
Boston's basically the equivalent of New York.
Yeah.
It's like really big. And I am really excited to make friends there. I'm really excited to see snow there. I live in the cold. And I'm also excited because I'm taking a second major. I'm taking data science.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's always good to have two majors
Yeah.
in this time.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to do data science because economics, I did a little bit of that in high school, but data science, like I took a small course, but I haven't really been exposed to it as much as I would like it to be exposed to it. So I'm really excited about that. And Northeastern, it has a great co-op program and it starts during your second year. So I'm eager to see what company I'm going to intern for and which
Yeah.
group of students I'm going to be working with. So I'm really excited about that. Northeastern, I would say, is like very diverse and it has a lot of opportunities. They
Yeah.
present a lot of opportunities to you. Um, and it encourages you to like look for internships, to like push yourself and just gain a lot of more like real life world experience. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to like living by myself once again and just like learning how to like manage like your studies as well as like manage your eating habits, your schedule,
Yeah.
etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So yeah.
And another question that I had was that how is the like studying at uni like compared to, like, for instance, when you take IB, you're in your DP years, you're spending a lot of time working, studying and stuff. So how is uni compared to all of that?
College is like much more, I wouldn't say lenient, but it's more flexible.
Yeah.
Like for instance, college is all about you teach yourself and the lectures that you go to, that's like supplemental. That's like 10% of what you're studying on your own.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because college is all about you're doing your own studies.
Yeah.
That's how they like rig us, but like that's how you do it. And high school is like the teachers teach you like 90% of the work and like 10% you do it by yourself. So college is like very, very different. And yeah, so you have to learn how to like manage that with like, like household chores, like
Yeah.
washing the dishes and stuff.
Yeah.
You need to create like a schedule. You need to create a schedule so you know when you're going to study, when you're going to do the homework and all of that. So I'd say like reach out to like a couple of other people and like ask them how did they manage their time, because at first it can seem very overwhelming that you don't know how to organize your time, you don't know how to organize your classes.
Yeah.
So I'd say definitely reach out. But yeah.
And another thing that I want to know is, do you prefer uni life or being a high school kid?
I prefer being, I don't know, to mix. I can't choose one because I like living with my family
Yeah.
and you get to like spend time with them, and uni life is also you get to be with your friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I prefer more high school
Yeah.
because I'm with my family and I get to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't have to cook, I don't have to do my laundry, I don't have to
Right.
wash my dishes. So there's that thing also. There's that benefit also. And uni life, you have to be, not only do you have to be independent, but you also have to take care of yourself. Like in the sense, if you're like going grocery shopping, at least like, or you're like walking alone somewhere, even if it's like in the day, you have to like you have to be like aware of your surroundings at all
Right.
times.
Yeah.
And if I'm with my parents, I'm like, okay, I'm just minding my own business.
Yeah.
I don't care what's going on. But you have to be more alert, you have to be more aware. So that's one difference. That's another difference.
Okay. And now that you mentioned about living away from your family, can you talk about how, when you went to your first year of uni, how were the first few weeks or days like when your family wasn't there with you and you were all on your own in a new place?
The first few days it was kind of sad and alone, but then I started watching movies with my roommates and stuff.
Yeah.
So I quickly learned how to make friends.
Yeah.
I learned how to be friends with my roommates. So it wasn't that hard. Like yes, like you're alone. It's just like when you come back for holidays, you're like sad, like one day you're leaving, then the next day you're back to routine, you forget all
Right.
about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So the routine part is what like gets you used to it. Yes, you are alone, but like you're also with your friends all the time, and that's one great part about college, is that like you can, if you ever want to study with your friends, you can do that. If you ever
Yeah.
want to like get coffee, you can do that. And I think that's a great part. So you're never really alone. Like at college, you're never alone. Like even when
Okay.
like even on weekends, if you don't want to
Yeah.
go out, like if you don't want to go out with your friends, you can just
Yeah.
stay at home, and you can like watch a movie with your, like I said, your roommates or something, or you can, clean or something. But like other than that, I wouldn't say you're alone. You're just
Yeah.
learning how to like live by yourself, and you're learning how to be independent.
Yeah. Another question I wanted to ask you is that what advice would you give to your high school self who was in the process of applying to unis for the first time?
I would say that like, Serena, you need to understand that like you made mistakes. It's okay. You have to accept them, and
Yeah.
like you have to move on. And I would say
Mhm.
that sometimes stuff happens the way it does because it's just supposed to happen the way it's
Mhm.
supposed to happen. So you have to learn to accept, and you have to like learn how to move on. And I would just tell her that like also that like I applied to colleges in America, and applying to colleges in America is insanely competitive compared to Canada,
Yeah.
where like the number one university in Canada, their acceptance rate is like 45 to 50%, which is
Oh.
almost like that's
Yeah.
very, very, very high compared to like American universities. So I didn't understand that. I didn't grasp that. So I wish I told my high school self that like, when other people are applying to colleges in like Canada and Australia, like their acceptance rates are much, much higher,
Yeah.
and they're much easier to get into. So, you can't compare yourself to that person because
Right. Yeah.
you're applying to two very
Yeah.
different things. So I wish I told my high school self that. And another thing I wish I told myself was that like I had this need to like go to a college tutor and ask for like like you pay them to like help with
Right.
your essays.
Yeah.
But I realized I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I didn't do that for even my transfer, because you are learning how to be your authentic self. You're learning to portray your best part to those college admissions, and also that like they're not manufacturing an essay. It's not like a factory where like you just be like, okay, I paid you and like give me like an essay. This is you finding your own self through writing
Right.
your essays.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad I would have told my high school self that. I didn't do that even in high school when I was applying, but I just wish that I could like comforted her that like you don't need to do that. You could have just
Yeah.
asked your mom for help. I could have asked my
Yeah.
mom. I could have asked you, could she help me with this? My mom helped me with this. So there's a lot of ways to ask for help. And I did that. I asked a bunch of people for help to edit my college essays, like my cousin, my older cousin, or like a friend who's like doing her master's degree right now, because they have experience. So
Yeah.
my high school self did do that. So I just wish that my Serena and like high school understood that these are the differences between American universities and Canadian universities, and that I was applying to a much more competitive range
Yeah.
in America, where like people, they do like a lot of nonprofits and stuff, or like they're doing like cancer research already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot. I also had to understand that living in Congo, you
Yeah.
have a very limited scope compared to
Mhm.
living in the US.
Yeah.
Like you have much wider like scope on what you can do during your summer, because there's just so many more opportunities there compared to this country. So I wish I told myself that there's the difference between like two countries that you're living in compared to the US.
And so, to any other high school kid out there who is aiming to apply to an Ivy League or one of the top unis, like you applied to Northeastern,
Mhm.
you would tell them that they can make it, right?
Yeah,
You don't
of
have to be the
course. You
smartest
don't
and
have to be
stuff.
the smartest. You just
Yeah.
need to figure out how to portray yourself. It's all
Yeah.
about like, I don't know if you watch this TikToks, but there's a lot of TikToks. They're like the valedictorian, because they just don't have any story to themselves. They don't have
Mhm.
a story of themselves. So it's about portraying your best self, and you should do that.
Yeah. And is there any other advice you would want to give to high school or high school students or seniors who are applying to unis or any first year uni students?
I would say join a lot of clubs. Like try to join clubs and organizations so you can make friends that way. If you're like, I can't make friends, or like join a sorority. Like that's how you make friends.
Yeah.
So then you can't just be like sitting in your dorm all day and be like, I have no friends. You have to go out. You have to go out and make friends. And I would say that if you're like an IB student, learn how to like transfer your credits. Like academic advisors, they will understand you. If you be like, I did business management, I shouldn't have to take this business class. You just have to explain it to them. So there is that part. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Serena, for being here on today's podcast and giving us such good insights on uni
Of
life and
course.
the real process of applying to
Yeah.
unis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching today's episode on Khushi's Corner. See you guys next time. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.